Hello, I'm Amy the Bunny Lady, and this is my partner, Elusive, Ellie for short. High five. Good job. Rabbits need more space than most people think, so I'm going to teach you how to increase the amount of space that you give your rabbit so that you can give them a better home. If you are new to our channel, welcome. We give it tips and tricks for how to make sure you have a happy and healthy bunny in your home. So if that's the kind of thing you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscription button and the notification bell next to it so you never miss any of our weekly videos. And don't forget to check out my merch at my store. I have a bunch of funny bunny t-shirts like this, and you can get sweatshirts, tank tops, mugs, bags, all types of things. So check that out if you like cute bunny stuff. So rabbits really do need a lot of space. They're naturally very active creatures who need to get a lot of exercise in order to maintain their health. This means that we need to give them a home that's actually pretty large. The problem is that most cages that are marketed for rabbits at pet stores or on Amazon, things like that, most of these cages are actually much too small for them. So for rabbits, really the minimum amount of space that you want to give them for their enclosure is an enclosure that is about 3 to 4 times their length and 2 times their width. The more space that you can give your rabbit, the better. It's also important to mention that having a large enclosure doesn't mean that you can let them out to exercise less. They still need a number of hours every day outside of the enclosure to get like a lot of exercise, to run around and explore. But this means in those times when supervising isn't possible, when you don't want your rabbit to get into a bunch of trouble while you're not watching them, you still want to give them a very large space. Now, giving this amount of space to your rabbit can pose a problem if maybe you live in a small space, or maybe you already have one of these cages for rabbits that was marketed for them, and like you got it because of course you're going to get the thing that's marketed for the rabbit. You didn't know before, but now that you do know, it's time to think about what you can do to give your rabbit more space. One of the first things that I recommend is using an exercise pen. So either completely moving your rabbit from the cage that you already have to this exercise pen, or what you can do is attach an exercise pen outside of the entrance to the cage and using it as like a permanent yard for your rabbit so that they can hop in and out of their cage as well, but they'll still have the pen as an enclosure so that they're not going to get into any trouble. It's honestly one of the cheapest ways to house a rabbit, and it gives your rabbit a lot of space. Another great thing is that if you have a large rabbit and they need more space than one of these exercise pens will give them, you can very, very easily just get 2 exercise pens and connect them together to increase the space. This is also something you can do if you just want to give a small rabbit more space. It's very easy to just connect the fences together and increase the amount of space that your rabbit has. That's another thing that you can do to quickly and easily increase the space that your rabbit has to live in. So what can you do if it's not the type of cage that you have that's the problem, it's the amount of space that you have? Maybe you live in a very small apartment and don't have access to a large amount of space to give your rabbit. Well, one of the things you can do is utilize space underneath furniture. So what I did, I used to live in a fairly small room with my bunny, and what we did was I got a loft bed. I could use the entire space underneath the bed as my rabbit's enclosure without having to worry about taking up any extra floor space that I needed for like my desk for working. You can do that with other types of furniture as well. You can do that with like a table, if you can put your rabbit's enclosure underneath a table. So utilizing these areas underneath furniture can be a really useful way to make space for your rabbit and make sure that they can still be energetic and happy throughout the day. Another thing you can do is play with vertical space. So maybe you can't give your rabbit a whole lot of space with just the pen, but maybe you can add shelves or something like that to your rabbit's space so that they have some vertical space that they can use. And so one way you can do this is just putting a pen like next to a bookshelf, and then your rabbit can like hop up and down. You can give your rabbit those different levels so that they can very easily have a little bit more space on that vertical plane. You can do the same thing with DIY cubes. Some people will make entire enclosures out of these DIY cubes, but you can make different levels so your rabbit can hop up and down. It gives them a little bit more space for exercise and for moving around during the day. But then the other thing you can do is to free roam your rabbit. So this is when you don't have an enclosure at all. You basically keep your rabbit the same way that you would keep a cat or a dog, and you have them as like a companion pet. You could free roam them in just one room of your house. So the thing with free roaming is you do need to make sure you are very, very thorough with your rabbit proofing. So you want to make sure your rabbit can't get at any of the wires in the room, and you want to make sure that like any dangerous objects or anything that you don't want your rabbit to chew on is completely out of their way, or like in a closet, behind a door, up on top of something they can't reach. This way your rabbit won't be able to get in trouble even if you're not supervising them. This is honestly the best way to make sure that your rabbit continues to get enough exercise and is able to be like happy and energetic whenever they want throughout the day. But it's not really possible for all rabbits in all living situations. Some rabbits, of course, are more troublemakers than the other, or maybe they are being stubborn about being litter trained and you don't want them peeing all over the house. Or maybe you just have a very small apartment and there's no way to really rabbit proof the whole thing. So you need to keep them in enclosure to keep them safe. Those can definitely be problems that can keep you from free roaming. But if this is something that you want to look into, then I recommend checking out my free roam rabbit video so that you can look at the steps that you need to take in order to free roam your rabbit, because it's something that can be really beneficial for your rabbit in the long run, and it can really help your relationship with your rabbit as well, because they'll be able to spend as much time with you as they want to. So definitely something to consider. If you're interested in more tips and tricks about rabbits and how to care for your rabbits, I do recommend checking out my mailing list. I will send you this free mini ebook with all of the basics that you need to know about caring for rabbits. This is everything from diet and socializing with your rabbit and basic rabbit behaviors that you should be aware of. This is really great, especially if you're new to having rabbits. But even if you've had rabbits for a while, it can be really good as a refresher. And I will send you some cool tips and tricks that I have learned throughout the years of working with rabbits as a volunteer and having rabbits at home, so that you can learn from everything that I've learned throughout the years. So check that out if that's something you're interested in, and thank you so much for watching. I do hope that we will see you next time.